Hi, I'm Tim Carter from AskTheBuilder.com, and I want to talk a little bit about a really great saw stand. This is a device, it's a tool, it's really an accessory that you would use to mount well, it could be just about any saw, but in most cases, it's a miter box saw. And frequently carpenters will use a saw stand, out in the field, in your driveway, wherever they need to set up a saw, and they are extremely helpful if you want to keep the saw stable, which is very important, and more importantly, if you're cutting long lengths of wood. So let's look at a saw stand that I'm using right now, and it's got to be one of the best engineered tool accessories I've seen in my career. I'll be very honest with you, because if you knew how we used to have to set up saws in the old days before this accessory is developed, you'd have the same feelings I would. Let's take a look at it right now. So here's the stand. You can see it doesn't, you might not think it looks like much, and it's made out of aluminum. It's got these nice folding legs, and I've got it set up on a nice stable plywood floor. But here are some really, and of course here's the saw, so you can put it into perspective. You can see that you've got a miter box saw, and it happens to be a compound one that's attached, to the stand. And the way it attaches, by the way, are these nice yellow brackets. These yellow brackets come with the saw stand, and they have got slots in them that you really can't see. Well, actually, you can see the slot right here. And it comes with a bolt kit, and just about any saw, any miter box saw will fit on this saw stand, on these brackets. So, and then of course you can move these brackets and slide the saw up and down the saw stand by squeezing, those clamps. That's what locks it into place. But here's one of the greatest features about this particular saw stand. These are end supports. And of course, they slide in and out, and they slide a long, long way. You can see that it extends out from the stand, and what it allows you to do is the lumber, the height of this part of the bracket right here, well, guess what? It's the same height as the table of the saw. So it keeps your lumber nice and level as you cut it. You can make adjustments on this so that using these little knobs here that allow you to raise or lower this part of the support. And what that allows you to do, you can make this become as high as the table, so that if you're trying to cut lumber that's the same length all the time, this becomes the stop. In other words, the lumber hits against here, and whatever distance you have created, for this away from the saw, you can see I can move it any direction I want. And then you can lock it into place using this lever here. So this will not move. The point is that it's a huge time saver, because once you preset this to whatever distance it is away from the blade, you can cut multiple pieces of lumber the exact same length every time. You only have to measure it once, and it saves a lot of time. The stand is very, very stable. You can also adjust where you want the saw on the stand. You can put it to the left, to the right, to the middle. And of course, this helps you when you're cutting very, very long lengths of lumber, because if you want to balance the lumber and you take this bracket all the way out, you can see that bracket's way, way out there. And of course, the saw is right here, and we can even slide the saw maybe a little farther to the right. The point is, you can cut very long lengths of lumber, and they won't be tipping. They'll be balanced when you're trying to sit here and do the work at the saw. So the saw stands are really, really wonderful. Once you take the saw off, the legs collapse. There's a nice carrying handle underneath the saw stand, and it's just a remarkable tool. It's just an absolutely remarkable tool. And, it says it right there. Tells you exactly what's going on. But it's just a great tool, and I highly recommend it. You can see that these saw stands are absolutely a magnificent tool. You'd want to get one if you're going to start to work with a miter box saw a lot. It'll be the... All I can tell you is that you'll rave to your friends and neighbors and coworkers about it. And it's an ingenious device. I wish I would have had it years ago. You know what we used to have to do? We used garbage cans. We would stack up pieces of lumber on garbage cans. We'd make up our own crude platforms. We would do all sorts of things, you know, to try to create this exact tool. And, you know, it just took some nice, bright engineers to create this thing and make it affordable. So you'll like your saw stand if you get one. I'm Tim Carter for AskTheBuilder.com. I hope you enjoyed that video and found something helpful and useful. How would you like to get tips like that for free each week in your email box? Sure, it's easy. All you have to do, subscribe to my AskTheBuilder.com newsletter. Look below. See that link? Just click it and you'll be taken to the sign-up form. You're going to get new tool reviews, new product reviews, all sorts of great tips, and the best part, it's free. If you want to discover more home improvement tips, go to AskTheBuilder.com.